Um, on the Tigers, a lot of external talk there. I don't know if it's a slow news week, um, but they're trying to go for Aiden Caesar, and then there's the Scott Fulton saga with Benji saying that he wants Jack Cogger. So it seems to be a lot of infighting, and I guess looking at their second wooden spoon this year. Um,
Yeah.
I guess you get to that point where everyone's just looking for whose fault is it. Kevy went through a very similar thing up at the Broncos.
Mm.
Like you said earlier offline, with Ben Aiken. Um, how did they resolve that? Because I mean, you look at Kevy, the hope that he kept talking, and you kind of looked at that team, a lot of young kids, and you kind of thought, oh, they look like they've got the potential. Um, is Aiken gone? Is that the only
He's
change? It's
gone.
been
He's gone now. So yeah, I don't think they had quite a clear demarcation of who was in charge of what role, and there was a bit of overlapping between Aiken and Kevy Walters as well. And I heard Aiken, he spoke on James Graham's podcast about it. So, he thought that he was he was overseeing all the football operations. So he thought his job was to, look after all of football and grow all of the game. And
yeah.
Kevy was thinking, no, we're just going to worry about the top 25 and not so much about the pathways and all the rest of it, or the top
Okay, yeah.
side. And there was a bit of, they were on different pages. And then Aiken, he brought up how, it doesn't matter what he personally thinks and all the rest of it and what Walters or thinks as well. If they're not all aligned and they're not
Mm.
all pulling in the same direction, it's just not going to work. So he eventually got on the same page as Kevy Walters, because if things go wrong, it's normally the coach
Yeah.
who's on the firing line, as it has been with Kevy. So if the buck stops with him, it has to be sort of, we've got to align with him, and that's what he ended up doing. And they started to turn things around. And Aiken's now moved on. He's the CEO of Queensland Rugby League now, so,
Mm.
and he's got another good job. But you're right, it's similar to the Tigers where, Fulton wants one thing, Benji wants another thing. All of them are working hard. I've heard good things about Fulton,
Yeah,
about
yeah.
how he is as a recruitment guy, how
Mm.
he's very good at his job. But if he's not aligned with what Benji wants in a player, then it doesn't really matter how good you are because you're not on the same page. And this is another example. I think I don't mind them hiring Fulton because I think he, like I mentioned before, he's very good at what he does.
Mm.
But it's more the process of him getting the job, which I think was the issue. Because
Yeah,
the
and I
two
think that's the
jobs that,
thing. It's a bit of a storm in a teacup. Like, I don't know if it is as bad as people reporting it, like with Benji in the relationship. Um, but yeah, like just stuff like that when it's coming to the fore, when the team's going that badly, it's quite hard. Um, good. Yeah, I guess it's kind of like off the players because it's easy to kind of say the players aren't doing enough and they're not interested in not turning up. But when there's stuff like that happening at the top, it's hard for the players to be focused because you, you look at when they had the Anzac shirt that came out earlier in the year,
mm,
and they got it printed with the wrong army or something. It wasn't even American, and it was the players that were left to front and try and explain, yeah, we should have
yeah,
got it checked. It's like it's got nothing to do with the players. So I think it's nice to kind of with the RLPA stuff, the players kind of aren't really fronting, so kind of takes the focus off them. And it's like, well, yeah, if these things are happening in the back end, it's, it's no wonder that these guys are, kind of struggling at training, not really sure what's going on as much as Benji and um, what's his name, trying to run that team.
yeah. I think also, like, because what you're talking about there with the jerseys, that's poor leadership from the top guys, not
Mm-mm.
fronting that, not keep not even checking if
Yeah,
if it's at least an Anzac Army in there. I think they had Bateman on there, who's
yeah,
English, to
yeah,
front
yeah,
the
exactly.
Anzac.
Yeah, to front the jerseys when they first put them out.
And it's like, yeah, that is just poor leadership from the top. And this is
Mm.
what a lot of this stems down to. So, like I talked about the process of Fulton coming on board. So, Fulton could be good at his job, but he's hired to work alongside Benji, and the two relationships, they need to have that synergy between those two.
Yeah,
And so, for him to get the job without even Benji or Tim Sheen's even knowing about it,
yeah.
they just hired him and just chucked him in there. And they're not even sure if these guys will work together or what their
Like
goals
they probably
are
will,
as
it'd
aligned.
probably be
So
fine. Like it's probably would have been, match made in heaven had they just done the simple things. And I guess, like you're saying, like
Mm,
just the same as the jerseys, like left hand not knowing what the right's doing, and then
yeah,
it's like,
exactly.
here it is, like cool, let's do it. Yeah, this is going to be awesome. Benji, can get all the guys he wants. Fulton will go find them, and then like, hey, we got him on. Like, hey, I didn't know about it. And I guess yeah, that's just that, just feeling undermined. Whereas like, guys, like, yeah, whoever's running the office, I don't know how big the Tigers offices are. Maybe it's quite hard to get across and talk to each other. Maybe
Yeah.
it's too many meetings via Teams.
Well, they signed those two brothers from the Seagulls.
Fainu,
Yeah.
the
Now, one
youngsters.
of them is a gun,
Yeah.
and he's a 5'8", though. So, it'll be hard for him to come in and make it if there's that lack of stability in the team.
Mm-hmm.
So, I would hope that they go for Caesar for that purpose,
Yeah.
because Caesar is a veteran, and he can be the guy who leads them around, and that allows Fainu to just come in and play his normal game while he's still learning the NRL.
Yeah, because that's the thing, especially in the climate that the club's going through. Any new signings, there's so much pressure, and for some, this kid that yes, he's doing well, and people are talking him up, but yeah, when supporters are putting all their hopes on him, it becomes another Luke Brooks. Like he
Mm.
came in with all the backing, the future Andrew Johns, and got the big contract, and then he just struggled because yeah, like I guess they were looking for that turnaround, and after 12 years, they're still waiting.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, was a tough one.
Mhm. Um, Broncos Dogs. You catch that game?
I saw bits of the highlights there. Good to see young Dean Mariner in there as well, getting an
Mm,
opportunity. He
yeah,
looks like
yeah,
a good player for the future. And Billy Walters, who I've been critical of on this podcast before, I thought he's coming along. He's growing as well. I thought, oh, this is the coach's son, so he's getting
yeah.
a game. But to his credit, he's getting better. Eh? This is probably his best season in the top grade, I thought. So
Mm.
um, they've got real problems there at the Dogs, though. Their defense is woeful. 44 points they leaked for a team who's got a defensive guru for a coach. Um,
Yeah, he mentioned
they're
that.
struggling.
That's why he was brought in. Like he was the Warriors got the attacking coach and they got the defensive coach. So yeah, I think it's real hard for him when he's seeing his team leaking that many points. So
Yeah,
um, Adam Reynolds, yeah, I guess it just goes to show, like what we're talking about the Tigers, how much of a difference a really solid seven makes.
yeah,
Like look at the Broncos, all the dramas they had. Bottom.